Okay, so I've just continued duplicating these teeth and scaling them and rotating them just so they follow my reference picture behind. So they kind of get a bit shorter around the curve there. So just mimic as closely as you can to your reference drawing. So I've got all those teeth drawn. So what we want to do now is just to shift select both of those other pieces of backing, and I just want to color those black. Remove that stroke. So they're now black, but you can see the teeth are underneath the backing. We want those on top. So with the backing selected, we can arrange center back, but that's centered even behind the image. So let's just move this image to the back. We need to unlock all because we previously locked it. Select the image, object, center back, and we can just lock that selection again. Right, so there we have a nice zip open with the curve showing the inside of the skirt. So just grab all that finished zip, object, group. We've got that in a nice single group now. So next we're going to start drawing the stripes. So we want to draw the stripes so it looks like they've been masked in a circle. So same again, they just alternate black and white stripes. So let's start with the first one. You can just use straight lines for these. So one click with the pen tool, another, select about halfway, shift and drag, and one final click. Color that, you find that that follows the curve pretty nicely. So let's just lock that object, lock selection, and now we can move on to our second stripe. So one click at the bottom, one click at the top. The nice thing about locked objects, they still respond to the Smart Guide, so you can still lock all the points together. Click and drag so you get that nice curve at the top. Click once on that point because we just want a square point. Click once over there. And that stripe essentially goes behind the zip, so we just want to show that that stripe goes behind the zip. We can move the zip later. Click and drag. There we've got our second stripe. We want to colour that 5% black. And there we've got our white stripe. You can click on that zip. If you go to Object, Bring to Front, and that just brings the zip again to the front of that skirt. Again, just keep creating those stripes. It's another black stripe. Again, we can move that zip to the front. And there's one last white stripe here. And you can always go back and adjust the curves if you need to later on. And we have our last white stripe. Bring to front. So we have the stripes on the front of the skirt. Now let's start building up some of these shapes in the background. So if you do make a mistake with the curves, you can just always go back and adjust it. That's a black stripe there. And again, we can bring our zip to the front. We have a white stripe coming in over here. A little bit of a curve. It's 5%. I just like to lock all these once I've drawn them, just so it makes it easier for not making a mistake. So lock selection. There's one more black stripe here. Let's just bring the zip in front of that. And the last one is just the white backing behind. So that's quite an easy one because everything's going to be sent to the front of that. %. Black, and you can just send that to the back. So let's just unlock all. I want you to now just drag the background picture to the bottom. And now we can see we've got a pretty close replica. What might be nice is to put a gradation just on this back one. At the moment that's blending in a little bit too much to these other shapes. So let's select our gradation tool, or go to Window, select Gradient. Obviously we don't want a golden gradient, so click and drag these away. Double click on the one end, maybe make that a let's say a 30% black. Double click on the other side, and we'll make that a 5% black. and 30%. So just a slightly darker gradient coming in from underneath there, just to give that a little bit of depth. And you can do the same for this one, because this stripe is underneath this flap. You'd probably want just a little bit of shading coming in underneath there. So with the same gradient selected, just click on that, and that just helps that piece stand out a little bit better. Don't worry about doing the tag, but certainly just adding some of these other details. So we've got a row of stitching up the top here. So selecting our pen tool, just draw a curved line, remove the fill, just give that a white stroke. Let's just zoom in on that a bit. I'll just give that a 0.5 weight. And let's just bring up our stroke panel. And we're going to give that a dashed line. Play around with the dashes. Maybe a 2-point and a 1-point gap. And that looks pretty good. Quite similar to our reference image. I'm going to show one more video, and it's going to share with you how to create these overlocking type stitches. So I'll be back in a moment with another video showing you that.